What's up, guys? Jar here, back with another video. And basically in this video I'll be showing you guys how to market your clothing brand in the bid 2026. So just to get everything started, it's my clothing brand Angelic. Yesterday, things of that nature. Yeah, let's get straight to it. So when it comes to promoting and marketing your clothing brand, there's three primary ways that you can go about doing this. Number one, most obvious, is organic posting. So for example, for my first ever drop with my brand Angelic, I made $119,000 in 14 days. And that was purely off of organic. You know what I mean? And I'll kind of show you guys what we did. It was primarily on TikTok. And as you can see, like, we got millions of views, right? And we were just posting 8 times a day at one point, right? So we were testing new styles of content, and this is when carousels had just got introduced to the platform. So TikTok was kind of like pushing it. So we were using a lot of carousels because it was easy to replicate, doing these story time pieces of content, you know what I'm saying? And then we'll just promote our product on the back end. And essentially, yeah, we just got hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views for each video, and that just led us to hit those high revenue days. I think at one point we were hitting like 20K days, you know what I'm saying? And it was building each and every day. But we had to close down the site, you know what I'm saying, in order to fulfill everything before Christmas. But essentially, when it comes to posting on TikTok or even on Instagram Reels, right? You're just emulating what already works. You know, Virgil talks about this, with his 3% rule, and essentially, like, you're just copying whatever works, right? Because it's already been proven, right? It's already gone viral before, et cetera, and then you're just putting your little iteration on it. And the thing that I like to do is just I have ghost dummy Instagram accounts and TikTok accounts that just interact with strictly like clothing brand accounts. And essentially what I do is just scroll my For You page, right? And then basically I just get infinite content ideas, right? And as you can see, this got 24K likes. So I have a high confidence that this will do well if I replicate this for my brand. You know what I mean? So I'll basically just apply those tactics, you know what I'm saying? And just pretty much just scroll through my For You page and get, a couple ideas and then just replicate, 10 or so a week. And then I have a good idea pool to pull from, you know what I'm saying? Because these are high confidence styles because they already work for other people, you know what I'm saying? So don't, you know, try to reinvent the wheel, right? You just want to emulate what already works, and then from there you can introduce volume into that. But there's some pros and cons when it comes to organic posting, right? So pros, obviously, it's low cash cost, right? It's high margin, right? You don't have to pay anybody to post organically, right? Unless you're like reaching out to influencers or that sort. It builds brand equity and trust, right? So you're building your organic presence, engagement, etc. It compounds over time. So when I was posting the 8, TikToks, I was still getting engagement from the past videos, right? So I was getting, that compound interest over time that led me to those high revenue days. And then the last pro is you can turn those organic pieces of content into ads. So when you actually are, looking at ads, right? Basically, an ad will pop up in the same placement as, an organic post. And essentially, like, if this post does well organically right here, which has 100K likes, then it'll do well as an ad, right? Because it's the same concept. You're getting people to engage and getting people to care about your product, as you can see here. So this would be a good actual ad to copy and emulate, right? Cons, right? You're essentially at the mercy of the algorithm, right? You're very algorithm dependent. Like, algorithms always changing. There's always something new. And you always have to be on top of things in order to adapt, right? Just like business in general. And it's quote unquote harder to do. It takes more effort, it takes more time, you know what I'm saying? But really organic, like just starting out, especially organic is the way to go. And then moving on to the next method to promote, that's gonna be basically influencers, right? So there's kind of two approaches that you can go with influencers. You can either go the paid route or you can go the product seeding route. So what I did was essentially do the product seeding route and then eventually move to the paid route. So basically, I product seed a bunch of influencers, right? Reach out to a bunch of influencers in my niche, and essentially from there, based off the influencers that produce content that actually perform well on ads, then I'll move them to, paid retainers, paying them X amount every month. And yeah, basically I'll just do that. And basically the same way I would just find influencers is just doing this kind of same method, but I have a different dummy account and only engage with UGC influencers in my niche. You know what I mean? And then basically reach out to them. But at the end of the day, it's just a numbers game, right? There's only a certain percentage of people that will respond, and out of those people that respond and that you ship to, only a certain amount of percentage of them will actually post, right? But the good thing about product seeding is that you're getting that content for free, essentially, other than the product cost and shipping, right? But for the most part, you're getting that content for free, and then it gives you a nice little funnel, that you can use for different content purposes. But when it comes to actual like looking for the influencers to work with, you want to look for influencers with consistent view counts, right? So influencers that have a proven way to get reach and engagement, and you don't really care for followers, right? Because you can have somebody with 100K followers but they only get 100 likes, you know what I'm saying, versus someone with 5K followers who gets 5K likes a video, you know what I'm saying. So you want to look for engagement, and then like I said, you can like search up certain like keywords in terms of like outfit of the day or get ready with me, right? And then you get like a lot of influencers that you can tailor down to, you know what I mean. So this is just like an example of the influencer, as you can see here. But yeah, that's kind of how I find influencers in that source. And then when it comes to outreach, right? This is an example of an outreach message that I just sent to influencers. Basically, just like, fuck with your fits. We'd love to send you some gear, right? It's important that you phrase it in that way because people like free stuff, right? And then basically, I just say we can do a hoodie in exchange for a reel, and then what I'm saying, like I said, it's a numbers game. And then from there, you just move on to that. So basically, the pros and cons, right? Pros, you have instant social proof, right? So like when people are scrolling on their feeds, right, when they're seeing the content come from the influencers page rather than the actual brand page, it gives you social proof and gives you more of a record, and it gives you more inherent trust. There's more strong niche targeting, right? So like I said, people who follow that influencers who may look up to them for fashion advice, et cetera, right? You're gonna have a lot more social proof in that aspect. And then you can reuse that content, right, for paid ads, for your own organic channels, et cetera, et cetera. The cons is that it's hard to track, right? So when you're doing influencer marketing, right, you don't have the actual insights behind the videos. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can reach out to the influencers to ask for that, but it's kind of hard to track, especially in terms of like actual sales that it's driving, right? Because at the end of the day, you can only really use either discount codes or really discount codes or post purchase surveys, which aren't really going to capture the actual halo effect from the actual influencers. So it's kind of hard to track from that perspective. And the ROI is inconsistent rather, right? So you might have some influencers that produce a lot of brand value and brand equity in traffic towards your site, while some might drive none, right? So it's kind of inconsistent in that sense. But that's why the product seeding method, you're just reaching out to a bunch of influencers, and then from there you're just cherry picking the top influencers and moving them to your paid program. And then the last con is that it's time consuming to manage. So like I had a influencer manager at one point when we had product seeding. We were reaching out to a lot of influencers each and every day, sending out like 10 pieces of clothing each and every day, right? So we had a whole dedicated manager on that. But if you're just doing it yourself, right, it's obviously going to be a little bit time consuming to manage. But yeah, it definitely has its pros. Like if I was starting out, I would definitely do a mix of both, organic and influencer, right? Because influencer is really going to build your social proof and that trust factor. And finally, the most scalable method. This is what all 7, 8, and 9 and 10-figure brands utilize, and that is paid ads, right? So with paid ads, right, as you can see with Mr. Zuckerberg right here, it's the most consistent and most scalable, right? So with paid ads, you can relatively get a nice little baseline, especially at scale, of revenue that you can expect on a daily basis. Versus like if you were just relying on organic, or just even influencer, like you're gonna have these big spikes, these big highs and lows. Just because essentially you're at the mercy of the algorithm and you're not in control of the actual performance. Versus paid ads, it's more relatively consistent, right? So common ad channels for brands are Meta, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Google. For some brands, Pinterest and Snapchat. Pros, immediate scale, right? So you can essentially have no organic presence, no social proof, etc. Even do like a drop shipping type method, like with a brand new ad account, brand new Instagram account, etc. And then you can get, sales right off the bat if you have good creatives and a good offer. It's predictable and consistent, like I mentioned, and it allows for precise targeting towards your actual, demographic. So yeah, cons, it's cash intensive, right? Obviously, you're going to need more cash up front, right? So this is if you already have the money willing to invest. And it's important to note that creative, right, or the ads only amplify what's already working. So if you don't have a proven business model, you're kind of pouring fuel to a fire that's not even there. Like, you can potentially start a fire, but at the end of the day, you're never going to really know unless you get organic sales already. Like, and then you have a proven, offer for somewhat proven offer and proven content style that works. And basically just paid ads just amplify that. Creative fatigue. So you're always gonna need to feed the beast, right? You're always gonna have to input new pieces of content on a weekly basis, and then CPMS are gonna rise perpetually. Even with Meta, like in the recent years, you can see that CPMS are always on the rise, and that's just because they have to increase earnings year over year, and the amount of new users to the platform is not keeping up with the demand, right? So I'll kind of show you guys some creative types that work for my brand. Let's see. This is from one of my campaigns. I can show you right here. Number one, this one is just like a lifestyle creative. If this fucking loads. Yeah, lifestyle creative. Here we go. As you can see right here, just lifestyle creative. This is back when they had dynamic creative testing. They kind of phased out of that, so now you have flexible ads, but it's essentially the same concept. But just loaded up some lifestyle creatives, just focusing primarily on the actual like USP, like the back quote. As you can see here, no motion, just motion. And this creative specifically, right? As you can see, it's kind of like that Pinterest aesthetic. This did well for us. Number two, this had 50K in ad spend. We can see this here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the same concept, just loading up a bunch of ads in here. And essentially, Super slime, I can't trust. As you can see here, yeah, you feel me? Just lifestyle, like it's simple. Like fashion is simple. See it, like it, buy it. Like you just got to promote and present your product in an appealing way. And if people like the product, they're gonna buy, right? There's not a lot of convincing that needs to be done. It's just rather just showcasing the product on your target demo, and yeah, and how to style it. You know what I mean? Another similar concept as the last one. Show you this one as well. Yeah, as you can see, just a lot of fast-paced montages showing off the product, as you can see here. Then I'll show you this final one. Just as one is a simple carousel. Like I said, nothing really too unique in that sense, right? It's just showcasing the product in an appealing way, because your design for fashion is really what sells the product itself, right? And yeah, basically that's really the three primary ways of promoting your brand and marketing your brand in 2026. If you want more help from me, you can click the link down in the description below. I got a couple mentor spots open. But yeah, until then, I'll see y'all in the next video.